All right. Good morning. Good morning. Now, I know, let me quickly say this. I know that I came in early. All right. I have a very early day today. So I thought, okay, let me start before I start. So I know some people will catch this later at some point in their lives, but I see that I have some people that are here with me. Please, by all means, do send your greetings so that I do not feel so alone over here. But I understand why. But it is for me important to share this message of today. It's Wellness Wednesday. It's Wellness Wednesday. In case you do not know, we did take a bit of a break. I needed that for past couple of Wednesdays. We did not have the morning devotions. We continued with the fast, but we did not have the morning devotions. But we are back now. Same thing with Grace Talks from this coming Sunday. We will be back. All right. Good morning, guys. Please, whoever it is that is here, I see that I am not completely alone. Whoever it is that is here, please just greet so that we are able to welcome you and tell us where it is that you're joining us from. It's always nice to be able to do that. Okay. Now, the reason I start early is because I need to finish a little bit early today. I have to finish by 5. If I can finish before 5, it would even be greater. Okay, as you have seen, the title of our message, Mercy, Rewrote My Life. All right, Mercy rewrote my life. I hope I'm audible because the people that are here with me are rather silent. All right, thank you so much. Somebody greeting us from Zimbabwe. Good morning. So thank you. Right, I hope I'm audible also, guys. Please let me know if I am audible. All right. Thank you so much, Tandisa, joining us from Kimberley. That's nice. It's always good to have people from places we don't normally have places. All right. Cape Town is also in the house. Okay. The title of our message is Mercy Rewrote My Life, and we're gonna go straight into it. But I do always want to remind us and to encourage us that of the many tools that Jesus left us, of the many tools that God gave us, that we are to continue to use until he's coming. And as we approach the second coming, the hill is getting steeper and steeper and steeper. Good morning, Simons. There are 2 gifts that Jesus gave when he left. 1, it was the gift of the Holy Spirit. 2, well, we've always had this other gift, and that is the gift of prayer. And so I'm big on prayer. I think I'm standing because of the gift of prayer. And so on Wednesdays, we don't just pray. We pray and we put food aside. So it's more intense. It's more what is the word that we normally use? It's more intentional. And we are so intentional that we want no distractions. We are so intentional that if ever there is a day that we are going to pray, even if we miss prayer on any other day, Wednesday, we are not going to miss prayer, because on Wednesday, we actually really want to draw very close and very tight and very openly to God. And the reason I start early in the morning, and the reason I encourage us to start early in the morning, is because our days get very full. So on some days, let's say you wake up at 5 and do your brief prayer and get the family going, and that becomes your day. But on a day like this, on a day when you are fasting, you want to spend enough time on that particular day in prayer. I know you pause at 9 o'clock to pray, you pause at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock to pray, at 3 and at 5, but all of those other times, there's always a possibility of a distraction, somebody knocking at your office or a call, etc. Wow. I don't want to say good morning because it's not good morning. Dr. V, good day, my sister friend. It is so good to hear from you. I hope all is well there at Maryland. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sis, for joining us. Okay, so I was just explaining the need of prayer, but I was also explaining the need of doing it from early in the morning. And if you start your day like that, if you start your Wellness Wednesday, your fasting day early, the chances of you also going in and praying during those other prayer times become high. But if you continue like you did on a Tuesday, on a Monday, on a Friday, you wake up at your later time, then you, and also you might just use Wednesdays as days for dieting, because you end up not eating but not praying as much. So I encourage you, when we finish this devotion, go to prayer. go to prayer. Spend some time in asking God and opening your heart up to Him and listening as well. Sometimes it's just important to be quiet and hear from Him. Allow Him to examine your life. You know how David puts it, search me, oh Lord, search me. And see if there is any part of me or anything or any action that I have taken or would take that makes you blush, and then help me, rid me of that. All right, okay, now let's go to the message of today. I'm not going to shout, and I'm praying that I do not, because when I did go through it for me, I was completely, I was a mess. I was really a mess. And I was very, very emotional when I went through the message of today. And as many of us know the song, many people sing the song, but Jimmy Swaggart is known for singing the song, Mercy Rewrote My Life. He didn't write the song, but he sang it. And so I want to talk about then, reflect on the power of mercy, really, the mercy of God. Now, somebody please write this down. 2 texts. 1, it is Lamentations, all right? If we're going to talk about mercy, we are going to have to talk about Lamentations, right? Lamentations chapter 3, verse 21 to verse 25. Lamentations 3, 21 to 25. So that's our first verse. And then our second one is 1 Peter chapter 2. We'll start in verse 10 and then go to verse 9. So those are our 2 verses, Lamentations 3, 21 to 24, 1 Peter 2, verse 9 and 10. All right. So that's basically that. We're going to talk about the mercy of God and its power, and then we're going to pray for that mercy. Allow me, therefore, to read the first one. Lamentations chapter 3 is a very common verse. Many of us start on verse 22, but I wanted to start on verse 21 this morning. All right. And on verse 21, Jeremiah says, "This I recall to mind, therefore I have hope." Verse 22, where we mostly begin, "Through the Lord's mercies, we are not consumed." Other version says, "Through the Lord's steadfast love." But through the mercies of God, we are not consumed, because His compassions fail not. And of course, we know the writer of the song. The compassions, the mercies of God, they are new every morning. Great is His faithfulness. So we are here today. I'm here today. I'm able to share this devotion with you. And you are able to listen on the other side of this because of the newness of the message of God. That regardless of what happened yesterday, how you felt when you went to bed last night, today you are awake and you're alive and you're standing because of the inability of the message of God to fail. Number 1. Number 2, because of the inabilities of the faithfulness of God to fail. Number 2, because of the newness of the mercy. So today we have a fresh supply of mercy. Yesterday's mercies were yesterday's mercies, and they took us through yesterday. But today we have a new supply of the mercies of God. And I'm saying that it's not necessarily part of the message. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with us this morning. Okay, so number 1, from the book of Lamentations, we get an idea of the power of the mercy of God. We get an idea of what it actually does for us. So the first thing that I want you to know, my friend, and I'm hoping that you would write these things as I say them, because at the end I want them to come out as a summary. Number 1, sometimes we are going through a lot. I don't know where you are in your life right now, and I know I'm not at the best of places. But number 1, regardless of what you are going through, take note. As long as you are still breathing, you are not consumed. That's the first thing I want us to remember, that it may be very, very difficult right now. It may be tough right now. You may be going from one day to the next and not sure how things are going to work out, what your future, things may be looking bleak right now. But can I just tell you, especially if you are here and you are listening to me, please take note that you're still breathing. Therefore, you are not consumed. That's the first thing that I want to remind all of us, is that I'm not consumed. I'm not consumed. I'm not consumed. I'm trying to find the right word in my language. But aukapeli. You are still alive. You are still breathing. And as long as you are breathing, and as long as you are alive, and as long as God is God, my friend, you are not consumed. You're not consumed. That's the first thing that I'm here to remind you of. Thank you so much. We are not consumed. It may feel like we are being consumed. It may feel like, all it takes, my mother used to say, I'm just one breath away from death. One breath. All I need now is just to take my last breath and I'm gone. She's 78. And all I'm doing is fighting this woman for keeping all her breaths. One, you're not consumed. But it is not because of your wonderfulness that you are not consumed. It's not because you are great. It's not because you've done anything wonderful. I know some of us are alive today and we are doing well and things are going well. And you think the reason you are not consumed is because you've done great by God. No, my friend, you are not consumed. And Jeremiah tells us the reason that you are not consumed is because of the mercies of God. Now, before we go too far, let's quickly define mercy. And I always want to put mercy in contrast with grace. And somebody helped me with this a while ago. Contrast mercy with grace. Grace is when God grants you. It is when God credits you. It is when they call it unmerited favor. It is when God opens doors for you, gives you blessings, gives you things that you do not deserve. It is unmerited. There is nothing in you that makes you say, oh, the reason I got this is because I did right by God, or the reason I got this is because of this and that. So grace is God giving you, granting you, honoring you, blessing you with something that you don't deserve. That's grace. And all of us, we are called theater of grace. And the reason every single day we wake up and we push is because of the grace of God. And the reason we are walking around so thankful every single day, I normally say that if justice were to prevail, I wouldn't be alive. And so sometimes people ask, but why do you push like this? One young lady was asking me the other day, how do you do it? I have no idea how I do it. It is because of the grace of God, of the mercies of God. But how I do it is because of the grace of God. Whatever I get to do that blesses someone, even if it's one person, there are some of you that are here today, is purely because I too have found grace and found favor with God. So that's grace. I don't want to spend too much time on grace because mercy is even deeper. Grace, and both of these, the author, the initiator is God. We can only respond by praising God. We can only respond by saying thank you. So grace is unmerited favor, unended blessings, unprayed answers. When God gives you something that you don't even remember praying for it, but now that you have it, you know you needed it and you should have prayed for it. That's grace. Now, mercy, on the other hand, please pray for me. I really intend, I don't need to cry today, because if I cry, I'm going to fall apart. Mercy, on the other hand, is you have done something. You know you are guilty. If we were to put you through the courts of law, you would find there would be ample evidence to convict you of guilt. You know you are guilty. And of all the people that know that you are guilty, God knows even more, but chooses to withdraw condemnation and extends his grace and extends his love and extends his mercy. So that is mercy. So grace, whether or not you are guilty, God gives you something. Whether or not you are good, God gives you something. But mercy, it is when God knows you are guilty. It is when God is fully aware of your guilt and your sins and your past, but chooses and could have, because God is the only one that could actually administer punishment. God could punish you. God could just destroy you, my friend. God could just breathe and you would disappear. Not only that, or the consequences of your mistakes could consume you. To use the words of Jeremiah, they could consume you, they could annihilate you, or your enemies could destroy you because of what you've done, or you've made bad decisions in the past and you continue to make bad decisions. And if justice were to prevail, if we were to go on tit for tat, you do this, then that's the consequence. If God was not a gracious God, none of us would deserve to even be standing, myself personally. But God decides to not only be gracious to you, in other words, bless you in spite of your mistakes, but to withdraw his wrath, to withdraw his extreme anger, to withdraw the punishment that we all deserve. God decides to withdraw that. That is the mercy of God. And of course, the two are very, very much related, because God is not a God he's not a reactive God, because mercy would be just reactive, where he says, okay, you make mistakes, I won't punish you. But he's a proactive God. He says, in spite of your mistakes, I will bless you. So grace and mercy always go together. And so today we are here, my friend. Back to that first point. Today we are here. and not consumed, and alive and breathing. And listen, we have hope. Remember verse 21. Jeremiah says, because of this, when I recall this to mind, I have hope. I don't know what lies ahead for me today. I don't know what lies ahead for me for the rest of my life, but I have hope. And the reason I have hope is because of the Lord's mercies. And the beauty of these mercies, I didn't find them the day I said yes to God, but I continue to get them on a daily basis. So number one, my friend, you are not consumed. You're not consumed. And the reason that you are not consumed is because of the mercies of God. Number two, somebody please write this down, is that today you have received mercy. Today you have received mercy. And I don't care what you did yesterday. I don't care how ugly the mess was. I don't care how is it Paul who says, oh, wretched man that I am. And somebody please write the second point. Today we have received mercy. That's the second point. Paul talks about, oh, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from this body of death? But he doesn't stop there. He then continues, as it's Romans 7, where he says, thank God for Jesus Christ. My friend, because Jesus is alive today, and he's going to be alive, and you and I are also alive today, the second thing that I want you to remember is that you have received mercy. Because it's one thing for us to walk away and say, okay, I'm still alive. I am not consumed today. So what? So that I can continue to endure whatever it is that I'm going through? No, ma'am. No. The reason that you are still alive today is because God has something in store for you. But before you even set foot out of your house, before you even set foot on the floor out of your bed this morning, if you are still listening to me from the comfort of your bed, please take note. And I hope that this will encourage you to push, that this will encourage you to persevere, that this will encourage you to excel today, that this will encourage you to be more loving to others today. Is because you, my friend, have received mercy. And here's the thing about the mercies of God, they are prepaid. They are because you've done nothing today except perhaps to wake up. You've done absolutely nothing. And as you step out of your bed, as you set foot onto the world today, you already have something. You already have something, and that's something, Jeremiah tells us, it is the mercy of God. I don't know about you, but that excites me. I don't know about you, but that encourages me. That tells me, keep going. Keep going. I don't know what today has in store for me, but I know who holds today. And that guy who holds today has given me something already to go on. 4:39 a.m., this side of the world. It is his mercy. So my friend, as you get out of your house today to go to work, or as you get up and get on with whatever it is, please take note that you already have your supply of mercy today. It is immeasurable, the amount of mercy that you've got. But let me not, because I want to spend too much time on Jeremiah. I want to go to Peter, because what is the power? What is the result? What's the point of this mercy that we have gotten today? But please take note. One, we are not consumed, so that we can continue to receive the daily supply of mercy from God. I'm sorry that I keep turning to the side. So the mercies of God, they're new every day. So I found mercy with God today. I'm breathing. I found mercy with God. Now, I want us to go to then 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, and connect the whole issue. What's the point and what is the power of this mercy of God? I have the mercy of God today. I have the newness of the mercy of God today, and all because of his faithfulness. So what is the point of all this mercy? Many of us know 1 Peter chapter 2. All of us know it, right? And we like to start with verse 9. But can you allow me to start with verse 10? All right? I'm going to read verse 10, and then this will explain the whole issue of the power of mercy. Verse 10 says, you were once not a people, but you are now the people of God. You once had not obtained mercy, but you have now obtained mercy. There's that mercy showing itself up again. Verse 10, 1 Peter 2, verse 9, you were once not a people. You were once not a people. I don't know what you are when you are not a people, but the issue here is people versus people of God. So I'm not sure what are you sitting and listening to me now. Are you a people or are you a people of God? And I'm talking, the people, of course, speaks to all of us as a group, but are you a person or a person of God? Peter tells us that once we had not found mercy, but we have now found mercy. The result And once we were not a people, but now we are a people. So what are some of the outcomes of the power of the mercy of God? What's the point? What does it mean for you and for me to have found mercy? Because it's beautiful for us to celebrate that today we have found mercy. What does that make you, my friend? And I don't know how you're feeling. I don't know what went on, what's going on with your life, and how you're feeling about you right now, regardless of how you felt when you went to bed last night. But the fact that today God allowed you to breathe, He breathed His life into you this morning. He has given you His mercy. And regardless of how you felt last night about you and Him, this morning, can I tell you what you are? Because you have found mercy of God. Without the mercy of God, we were not the people of God. But now that we have found mercy, we are the people of God. So I say to you, you are not consumed. You woke up this morning, you are not consumed. 2, you have found mercy. What does that mercy do? That mercy classifies you today. That as you walk around the streets of your community, as you walk around the corridors of your place of work or your business, as you walk up wherever it is that you will be going around, there may be a differentiator between you and the people around you. And what will differentiate you is because you have found mercy with God. And what is that differentiation? Is that because you have found mercy with God, you, my friend, are a person of God. You, my friend, are a child of God. I love how John puts it. Behold, what manner of love that the Lord has bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons and daughters of God. So because of the Lord's mercies, we are not consumed. And those mercies are new every day. What do those mercies do for us? They transform us from people without mercy to people with mercy. They transform us from people. Peter says, you were not a people. I don't even know what you are if you are not a people, but I know what it means to be a people of God. So the mercies of God transform us from being orphans, so to speak, from being without a father, and they transform us to becoming sons and daughters of God. I don't know about you, but I find that to be quite a privilege. So that's the third thing that I want you to write down in the chat, that I am the daughter, I am the son of the Most High God. And that makes me different to whoever has not found mercy. Now, all of us here, I'm going to make that strong assumption, and that is we have all found and accepted the mercy of God. And because of that, you and me, my sisters, are the people of God. You and me are sons and daughters of God. And John continues, and because of that, the world does not know us. And so it chooses the world. Give them grace. They have no idea of who you are. They can't quite figure you out. And the reason they can't is because the one that made you is himself mysterious. And so we are children of God. That's the third thing. Because of the mercy of God has transformed us to a thing called not a people, from a thing called not a people to a group of people called daughters of the Most High God. So it's one thing that you are not consumed. It's great that you are not consumed, but so that you can walk around here enduring your life? No, my friend. You are not consumed, number one. Number two, you have been given a fresh supply of mercy today. And that mercy has allocated you. It has put a label on your face or a tag at the back of you, or it has categorized you of the people that are walking around the streets of this world, of the 7 billion people in this world. You belong to this group of people called children of God, people of God, sons and daughters of God, people. And then I'm going to describe what those people look like. We're going to go back there. But the important thing is that mercy transforms us. The mercy that we have found transforms us. So we are not consumed. We have found mercy, and the mercy transforms us. It moves us from one side, and as the book of Matthew would put us, it moves us from the left to the right. It moves us from the status of goats to the status of sheep. It moves us from the status of being not a people to the status of people of God. It moves us from the status of the unforgiven to the status of being the beloved of God. Mercy transforms us, and the line, the bridge that moves from the side where there was no mercy to the side where there is mercy, that bridge, my friend, we know it. And you know me, and I love this line. There is a fountain. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. And yes, you have received mercy. There is a fountain filled with blood, drawn from Emmanuel's veins, where sinners like myself and you can plunge beneath and lose their guilty stain. So how have we found mercy, my friend? What is the dividing line between the guys who are not a people, the guys who have not found grace, to the guys who are now people of God and have found mercy? That dividing line is the precious blood of Jesus. It is not our merits. It is not the color of our skin, or even the fact that we go to a particular church. No, it is the power of the blood of Jesus. So every single morning, heaven will plunge you beneath that precious blood as it grants you. A grant is something, it's not a loan, as it grants you without you even asking the mercy of God. We have found mercy, and that mercy has transformed us from a people without a father, from a people without identity, from a people who are unknown, from a people who are doomed for destruction, from a people who are doomed for failure. That mercy has transformed us to being called sons and daughters of the Most High God. I don't know if there's a greater privilege. That's the mercy of God. That's the first transformation. It gave us identity. So you found mercy, you found grace. Don't forget who you are. And the power of identity is you are able to operate better when you know who you are. You operate better when you know who you are. And so that's the first thing that this mercy has done. Now, I want to go back to verse 9, the second part of verse 9, because the other thing that is there on verse 9, and then we're going to go to the big one about verse 9. The Bible says, without the mercy of God, it says, you were once darkness, and now you have been placed by God into his marvelous light. It's as though the mercy of God switches on the light in your life. It's as though the mercy allow me to demonstrate. All right. And I hope that we will see the difference. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm a little bit not in darkness, but I have less light. Without the mercy of God, things are not like this. They are much worse than this. Without the mercy of God, my friend, we are plunged into deep, deep, deep darkness. But because of the mercies of God, we find ourselves. Peter says, who has taken you out of darkness to show forth the praises of him who has taken you out of darkness into his marvelous light, into his bright light. And then Peter, somewhere else says, he doesn't just say you were once in darkness. No, that is a fact. But it would make darkness a location. Right? Peter makes it deeper, makes it more gross and more real. He doesn't say you were once in darkness, because if you were in darkness, you can always walk out of darkness. And there's a lot of darkness in the world. But you were once yourself darkness. You yourself, in other words, whether you are here or there or everywhere, the darkness followed you because you yourself were darkness. Without mercy, not only are we in darkness, but we are darkness. Without the mercy of God, but in other words, darkness consumes us, as Isaiah puts it in chapter 60, when he speaks of a time before the first coming of Christ, and we are living in a time before the second coming of Christ. He says darkness overwhelmed the world, and people themselves were living in constant and consistent darkness. If the mercy, and this is why God is so faithful, giving us his mercy every morning, because if he doesn't, not only are we going to live in darkness, which is the darkness that is gathering all around us in the world that we live in, that darkness will jump into our souls. And my friend, you and I know of people that are darkness, that they themselves are not only in darkness, but they are in darkness. But thank God for his mercy. Thank you, Lord, for your mercy, because he then says, you were once darkness, But now he transformed you from that darkness into his marvelous light. And of course, this is him who is light themselves, himself, capital L. Remember how he once introduced himself in the book of John. I am the light of the world. So the mercy of God transforms us out of darkness, a dark place, into his marvelous light, right? That's the power of the mercy of God. Transform us out of darkness into his marvelous light. So this morning, my friend, I don't care how dark it was last night. I don't care how dark and bleak your situation seemed last night. Today is a new day. Today, you have a fresh supply of mercy. Today, you have the assurance of the presence of God in your life. Can I tell you what that means? You have been transformed out of that darkness, that dark situation, that dark feeling. Step into his marvelous light because he has allowed you. He has transformed you into that. But here's something bigger. This is where Peter says you yourself were once darkness. Christ didn't just say that he is the light of the world. Christ doesn't just transform us from darkness into his marvelous light, which is himself, from those without mercy to finding mercy. But he then says to us in the book of Matthew, you, my friend, you are the light of the world. So not only are we in light, but we too can exhibit, can exude, reflect that same light such that we become the light of the world. Can you see the power of this mercy? We have found mercy so that not only does it place us in a place of light, that it allows us ourselves to shine, to shine, to shine. You know, let thy Shekinah glory. It shines, reflecting the light of Christ that is shine upon us. So mercy, my friends, transform us from a place of darkness to a place of marvelous light. And that place of marvelous light is where Christ is. 2, it transforms us from ourselves being darkness to ourselves being the light of the world. That is the power of the mercy of God. And like we said, that there's no condition to that transformation. The only thing is accepting the mercy of God. And I want to stay with mercy because many of us said, how can I be the light after everything that I've done? My friend, the power of the mercy of God. You can be the light of the world in spite of your yesterday. And that's the power of the mercy. And sometimes you can shine even brighter because of your yesterday. You can shine even brighter because of your yesterday. And so I don't know about you, but my prayer this morning is, Lord, I receive that mercy. I receive the transformation of myself from a place of darkness to a place of light. I receive the transformation of myself from being darkness myself, from darkness prevailing within me to being the light of the world myself. I receive that. And lastly, I love this. And this is the common one that many of us then know. Then 1 Peter 2, verse 9. The mercy of God gives us the following identity. The mercy of God gives us the following identity. And allow me to read it. You know it, but let me read it. You, my friend, and me, you are a chosen generation. Allow me to bring this here. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's own special people. I don't know what you were before that. Peter only just says we were not a people. I don't know what you were before that. But when the mercy of God has fallen upon your life, you change. You transform from darkness to light. But you get a new identity. You become a new person. Number 1, suddenly you are chosen. You are chosen. I'll talk about the plurality of this verse. The mercy of God when it has befallen you, my friend, and it befalls you every day. So receive it today. Receive it today and receive all of these benefits. Receive the power that it comes with. You, my friend, are chosen. You, my friend, are royal. You, my friend, are holy. You, my friend, are not only special, but you are a possession of God. Because you can be special, but if you're not a special possession of God, that's a different story. So the mercy of God transforms us from a people that were not a people, from a doomed people, from a people without identity, from a people without God, from a people without a home, from a people without, whatever else you can add there, to a chosen generation, to a royal priesthood. I have no time to go into each of those, to a holy nation, to God's special possession. That's the last thing that I want to share with you this morning, is that because of the mercy of God, you have a new name. You have a new identity. You know the song, there's a new name written down in glory. Because of the mercies of God, you, my friend, and I have a new identity. So I don't know about you, but because of the Lord's mercies, today I'm chosen. Somebody write that down. Today I am royal, because our Father is the King. So if we have the privilege of being called daughters and sons of God, that makes us also real. Today I'm holy. If God takes charge of my life, my friend, then I've been set apart for a holy purpose. So walk those streets, walk those corridors with that confidence that you've got a new identity. And of course, I'm super special. I'm peculiar. But not only that, I belong to God. There's a tag in the back here, and it is spelled G-O-D. Or there's a seal over here, and it is spelled daughter of the Most High God. That is the power of the mercy of God. And I want to just say this, and then I close. And that is this, the plurality of that verse. You know, I was hit by it just the other day. We are a chosen generation. Generation, so I'm not a generation. I am part of a generation. So the plurality of that verse, it talks about a generation. It talks about a nation. So yes, I am chosen. And thank you, Onka. Yes, I'm chosen. Yes, I'm holy. Yes, I'm royal. But I'm part of a group. We are a chosen generation. We are a holy nation. What that means is that I've got to look at you. If I have found mercy with God, you too have found mercy with God. And therefore, the way I deal with you has got to be on a sisterhood basis, to know that you too have found mercy, that we are part of that nation. I have no time to follow that. Why all this mercy, my friend? Why all of this mercy? Why is God so kind to give us this mercy on a daily basis? He asks for one thing in return. Of all the benefits that we've shared, we have no time to go through them. He asks for one thing in return: to show forth his praises, to proclaim his praises, to honor him, and to give him glory. As Revelations put it, fear God and give him glory. Here's the thing, though, about the power of mercy and the everydayness of that mercy, that should you live a life today that does not honor God, if he chooses to give you another day tomorrow, he will still grant you his mercy. He will pretend that he didn't hear what you did yesterday, and he will still grant you his mercy today, so that you have another opportunity to live as the new person, to live in the light, to live as royal, to live as holy, as chosen, to live as peculiar, and show forth the praises. So those of people of God should live the kind of life that makes people, without you saying, remember, light of the world, let your light so shine before men that they might see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. And so we have been given all of this. And the aim of God is so that as his daughters, as his sons, we've found his mercy. We can live as those who are not consumed. We can live as those who are forgiven. We can live as those who have found identity. But as we live, we send a message. Remember, and he puts it so well, other sheep I have. That as we live as those who have found mercy, as we live as those who have found grace, that we will then be bright and shining stars in our various communities, bright and shining light in our various communities. And what happens when we shine? Light draws others, so that that light that is reflected, the light of God that is reflected off of us, can draw other people to find the same mercy that we have found, that it can draw other people to themselves plunge beneath that precious blood. So it's a full circle so that they themselves can find mercy. And when they have found mercy, can also live in the light and allow the light of God to reflect. And when they do so, they themselves can join the nation of God, can join the people of God, can join the chosen and peculiar generation, can join the royal priesthood and shine the light of God, which becomes a bright and shining star for others. And so the story continues. All because mercy rewrote my life. So allow me to close. Like I said, this was a personal devotion that I'm choosing to share with you. Allow me to close with a prayer. I think it's a prayer, but it's a song that we all know. And my prayer was simple to God this morning. Lord, remember that paralytic man cried out when he saw him. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. That's my prayer today. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Because it turns out that without that mercy, I don't know. I'm not even a person. I'm not even a person. And so that's my prayer today. If that is your prayer, I pray that God answers that prayer as well. But I want to read the song by, I think it's David somebody, or it's Murdoch Mike, who wrote the song that we all know, Mercy Rewrote My Life. And so we've been doing the contrast now, before mercy and after mercy. And in a nutshell, mercy transforms us. In a nutshell, the mercy of God will rewrite our lives. Allow me to read it. For years, I traveled a road all wrong. My heart had lost every joy. My heart had lost every song. Then grace placed me right where I belong. Funny that is. Grace placed me right where I belong when mercy rewrote my life. And then it goes into the chorus. Mercy rewrote my life. Mercy rewrote my life. And of course, we know the word. I could have fallen. I did fall. But I could have fallen and I could have my soul cast down. If God were to be just, he could destroy us. But mercy, the same God of mercy, mercy rewrote my life. This last line, my mistakes were turned into miracles. Every tear was turned into joy. And I pray that that would be your reality, my friend. My sins were forgiven. A new name was written when mercy rewrote my life. I pray that that will be your reality today and every day after today, that God, by his mercies, can transform us, can rewrite your life. Thank you, guys. Have a blessed day and enjoy your fasting day. Thank you.